So I'm here with the tantalizing sweet tea.
Hello, hello.
So where did you grow up?
I actually grew up here in Jacksonville.
Have you lived here all your life?
I lived here all of my life. I was born and raised. I literally lived like almost everywhere, like here in Jacksonville. I grew up in the Arlington area, and then around like my teen years, my mom moved out of out of my grandparents' house. So it was like me, my mom, my grandma, my grandpa, my cousin, and my brother and my sister all in one house. And then my mom got back together with my dad. They were like literally they were broken up for like years, and then my mom went to my dad for child support, and they fell in love again. So like now like my mom and my dad has been together for almost um
Oh well.
and I'm so almost 10 years. Well, they've been married for almost 10 years, but they've been together for like almost like 12 or 13 years. So like so yeah, like they got back together when I was like 13, like 13, 12, like almost into like high school. And so we moved in south onto the south side, and then but yeah, and then we moved over to the west side, and then I moved out. I There was a point in time where like it was literally like the worst year of my life,
Uh-huh.
and I had got hit by a car. This was the year I graduated. I got hit by a car,
My
and
gosh.
then I got hit in the face by a gang with a 2x4. So like I have like a little scar on my face, like right there, like where my on my forehead and on top of my nose. And so like a year later, I was just trying to get out of that neighborhood because I was just from that incident. It always made me uncomfortable being in the neighborhood, especially when I take the bus. And so I just moved out with my friends, and we moved over into the Cecil Fields area.
Okay.
And then after our lease was up, I moved in with my mom and my dad again, and then that was over there on the north side towards Moncrief, and now I live on my own here in the Springfield area.
So you had brothers and sisters,
I have one brother and I have one sister. Mhm.
and how are they? Do you keep in contact with them?
So with my brother and my sister, so I'm the oldest. My brother currently lives in New York. He lives in
Oh,
like Buffalo, New York. So he just moved out last year to New York. He's 23. He's 23. We're 2 years. I'm 2 years older, so I just turned 25. So he just turned 23. My sister still lives with my parents, but she's currently going to school, and I'm 4 years older than my sister, so she just turned 21. Actually, tomorrow is her birthday, May 5th, so she turns 21 tomorrow.
oh, well, you better call her up and tell her it's time to party, and then she can go to the restaurant and drink.
Yeah, I mean, she'll probably be like, she's like a very like house body. Like she would rather like a good time to her is Netflix and just Netflix, and that's
Uh,
it.
so were your parents strict with y'all as you're growing up?
Growing up, I didn't really like live with. I didn't really like know my dad. My mom and my dad like broke up when I was born. So like at least I think a month or two after I was born, my dad and my mom separated,
Yeah.
and they were never married. So then my mom got married to a guy named Bruce who was very abusive. So like he had um he had married my mom, and then my mom had my brother and my sister. So I'm my dad's only child, his only born. So my brother and my sister are technically my dad's stepchildren. But he loves them as their own. My mom divorced my stepdad in 2000s,
Uh-huh.
and after that it was just kind of like just breezy. I've always been like accepted in my family. Like we always like lived a very like progressive liberal life. My aunt, my grandma's sister, is a lesbian, so like that kind of like paved the way for me a little bit.
It was easy to come out.
Yeah, it was definitely easy to come out, and like I kind of lived in my family, like with my family, like I kind of just never came out. Like it was just kind of like here's my boyfriend. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's never like, you know, I was allowed to play with dolls. Um, you know, I was allowed to just be myself. Like, I never really like wanted to play with dresses and things like that. But like, I was allowed to like pick out my own toys. I was allowed to like, um, you know, I always had like, I'm like in as Sweet Tea, I'm always known for like the way I walk when I'm in drag. Always walk like that ever since I was a kid. Like I've walked on my tippy toes. Everybody used to always say I have a lot of sugar in my tank. So like they like the whole world knew. I grew up in a church, so they knew. They knew. And growing in the church, because my grandpa was a deacon and my grandma was a deaconess,
Uh-huh.
and it was very awkward because, you know, there was a lot of like like a lot of homophobic sermons that I had to sit through. And not to say that my grandparents or my parents believed in that. It definitely did kind of like sway them in a moment a little bit, which always made me uncomfortable. But like I always known like my family loved me, and you know they kind of have like a lifestyle of where like you just live and let live. Like you only get one life, so you might as well live it to the fullest.
So tell me about your first time when you did drag.
My first time doing drag. Okay, so first time doing drag was like, do you want like the first time I like got in makeup, or you want the first time I actually like hit the stage?
You can tell both.
So the first time I was in drag, like in, well, okay, I guess both is both. The first time I was in drag was actually in high school. Um, so I was in a drama club, you know. Okay, gay kid in high school, all, you know, surprise, shocker, and drama club, shocker. But I always wanted to play like girl parts. So there was one time where I literally got in full drag, not full drag, but like I got kind of like I did like a female impersonation kind of. We had like a gender bender day, so I came to school as like a girl,
Uh-huh.
and during that day I was like, we had an acting class. I was like, I'm gonna perform. Like, give me a number. I'm performing, and we did like we did like a one of our songs from our upcoming musicals, and I did the girl part, and I was like, I'm doing the girl part, so y'all better figure it out.
It wasn't Grease, was it?
um, huh?
It wasn't Grease, was it?
No, it was a play. It was one of like those like high school plays that like you don't really know. Like it's like one of those little like things that they just like pick out from like a store, and they'll be like, "Ooh, I'm gonna have my whole team do this." And like so it was called When in Rome, and it was really really cute. Like I actually like really really loved it. Um like I still like to this day like sing it. Like I still like some days where like I'm thinking about high school, I'm like, when in Rome, do what the Romans do. When in Rome, do what the Romans do. So like, and there's videos on like my Facebook if you have to dig really really deep for them. Like they're in my tagged, and you have to dig really really deep for them. Um, but like I play like a mean emperor called Senator Altulus.
Uh-huh.
So I did play like a boy part, but then there was like a part where like I'm gonna be a girl, bitch. I'm about to switch it up.
What about the first time that you did like stage drag, like on stage? Like, I don't know if you went to Hamburger Mary's first, or if you were somewhere else first to
My
did your first.
first, okay. So I love telling this story. My first time doing drag, I remember it. I think I forgot who it was, but I remember like I forgot who I was with. But no, I remember taking the bus to Metro, and I got ready in the Metro's bathroom.
Oh
Okay,
Lord.
so I got ready in the Metro's bathroom, And this is like I literally like being like a host now, like being where I'm at. Like I still see people get ready in the Metro's bathroom. So I was like, okay, like I wasn't the I wasn't the only one. But I remember the first song I did was "The Greatest" by Sia featuring Kendrick Lamar, and I really wish I can like like visually show you. So you've been to Metro, correct?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. So we come out on the stage and there's like the opening part starts up and I'm so nervous. I'm like shaking in my boots. So I literally run on stage. I run on stage and they're like, "Uh-oh, running like I'm running like oh." I literally ran on stage, ran off stage, ran up to the bar, and I literally almost ran. I was running so fast, Ronnie. I literally almost bumped into Sonya at the bar. Like she was standing at the bar.
Oh no.
And the song literally just started. I would literally say like 10 seconds in the song, I almost ran into Sonya. Like I literally that's how nervous I was. You couldn't see my face because my wig was in my face. You couldn't see I like like my outfit was falling down. I was wearing a tutu and a leather like bralette that I got from Forever 21, and I look cute, no pads on, lashes falling down, but like I was a Barbie. I look like a little Barbie, so like I was pleased.
So how did you get the name Sweet Tea?
So I was actually at a restaurant and I was with my friend and we were we were at I forgot we were at I think we were at like a TGI Fridays or something like that, or it's like a sushi restaurant, and so we were already like planning out like drag names. So we were already planning out drag names, and first I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna be like Madonna's." Like I like prima donna, and then like I like Adonis, and then I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna combine the two," and I'm gonna be Madonna's, like Madonna, but like a boy, but like Madonna's.
Uh-huh.
And so then I was like, that didn't really stick. So like we're going over more ideas, and like all this happened like in the span of like 5 minutes because I was like, I already had like names picked out. So I was like, ooh, how about fruit tray? And they were like, because my name is Trey. I wanted one of
Yeah.
those like brandable names. You know what I mean? Like I have a very strong background in marketing and like just branding myself. I knew like coming into the scene, if I had a regular name, I would not enjoy drag that much. Like if like, and this is no offense to anyone, like if I had a name that was just like that anybody had, I just wouldn't enjoy drag that much. So I wanted a name like Milk. Like Milk came,
Oh
and I was
yeah,
like,
because
I want a Milk name. Like I want a name like Milk. Or I want a name like just like Trixie Mattel or like Violet Chachki. Like I want a name like that. And so like or like Adore Delano. Like I wanted like a name that stood out where it was like, okay, is that your name? Okay. So I remember like my favorite drink is sweet tea. And so I was sitting down and we came up with those names and the waiter came and they were asking me what drink did I want. I was like, I want a sweet tea. And then my friend was going to order and then they decided not to order because they didn't have any money. And I was like, oh, well, I just got paid today, so I can pay for you. And they called me a sweetie. They were like, oh, you're such a sweetie. Like, I was like, you're so sweet. Like, thank you. You're such a sweetie. And so then like she was like, oh, she's like, I'll have a water. She was like, I'll have a water. And so she was like, okay, so water for you and a sweet tea for the sweet tea. Like, cause she called me a sweetie. And so like she was like, so she's like, you get it, sweet tea, like for a sweet tea for a sweet E. And I kind of was like, yeah. I was like, yeah. I was like, that's cute. So I was like, sweet tea. And I told my friend, I was like, I was like, do it. Like, do the opening. And they were like, coming to the stage, Sweet Tea. I was like, I think I like this.
It is a very good name, very unique too as well. I was like, I wonder because had wondered before. I was like, well, how did he come up with this name? And then today I was like looking up like the meaning of like where sweet tea came from. Like on, on the internet. And I thought, well, maybe that's where he got it from.
We want to thank you, our listener, for taking the time to enjoy all our interviews. Please like, subscribe, and share our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Magenta Maven. Also, if you would like to be a guest on our show, please email me at themagentamaven.com. That's M-A-V-A-N. Be sure to check out all our past episodes and our new ones that come out every Wednesday. We would also like to hear your comments on the show, and don't forget to leave us a 5-star rating on your favorite podcast app. It will really help us out. Now let's get back to our show.
Well, like, everybody always calls me like very like sweet, and like they call me sweet but I'm sassy. So I'm sweet but I'm sassy, like, like I'm nice until like you fuck me over and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get you. But like I'm always like sweet even in those situations. Like I'm very like, I just try not to like cause any drama or be in any drama. Like it's never like my goal. But like I was like, I'm sweet, and then sweet tea is brown. So I was like, ooh, it's brown. Like that's my skin tone. So
Well, they when I looked it up, I don't know if you had looked up how it came about with sweet tea, and it said that everybody used to drink green tea, and that came from China. It's either China or Japan. I can't remember which one. Well, then it said, I guess during the war, we couldn't get anything from them, so they switched over to the British tea, which was a darker color, and so that's why they started. And then they started adding like sugar and stuff like that with it. So I was like, well, maybe that's where he got it from. I'm not sure.
And I also got some sugar in my tank too. So
yeah, well. So how did you end up with the Tea Bag Thursdays at Metro?
Long dedication. Long dedication. I always tell like people, you get your shine by working hard. And I felt like at the time when I got Teabag Thursdays, I feel like I still wasn't kind of ready. I feel like I still wasn't kind of, I wasn't that ready, but like people like found me very entertaining as like a host. And like before I started hosting at Teabag Thursdays, like Faith used to have me host on like Sundays, and
Yeah,
I remember sometimes closing up the shows at Mary's for Brittany on like a Thursday, and so like that's the experience I had. And I remember like on Deluxe Fridays, I used to like sometimes do like a little, like BB would be like, hold the mic here, and I'd be like, how are y'all doing? Yeah. So I guess it just came down to like just hard work and like who shines the most. Cause I feel like when Sion left and when she got her new job that she's freaking fantastic at, and I'm so happy for her. I guess like they were looking for like someone to, they were looking for someone fresh, someone that is, that can connect to like a younger audience, that can really like, brand it differently. And I had like a vision, like I had a vision for Metro, and like, and you can ask people there, like I'm heavily involved in Metro. Like I'm heavily involved in like trying to make it as best as I can. Like and I'm still learning, but like I'm like always involved in all Metro things. Like I've always like supported people at Metro. I've supported queens, and I've supported entertainers. I've been a part of like the Deluxe Friday troupe for so long, so I have my visibility. I did free gigs. I did gigs for like for like $25. Like I, like sometimes I filled in and like someone was like, I don't have anything to pay you right now, and I'm like, that's fine. I just want to be on stage. Like that's perfectly fine. And so, what really got me to Teabag Thursday was just the passion I had for it. Like you can, like, if they had gave it to anyone else, and this is no shade to anyone, they would have kept it. They would have kept it Thirsty Thursdays. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
they would have kept the name Thirsty Thursdays, and they wouldn't have. I want to say they wouldn't have done anything to try to jazz it up. They just wouldn't have thought of the things that I wanted to do to try to jazz it up. I feel like some people like get caught in like, it's not broke, don't change it. And I wanted to try some new things. Like we were seeing a drought at Metro, and a drought just everywhere really. Like when I took over Metro, every like bar wasn't doing that well, like me. So like this probably sounds controversial, but like but like not a lot of places were like not a lot of people were coming out to support. A lot of people felt like they're just tired of seeing like something that they just can see on a television now. So I wanted to spruce it up. So I was like, I'm gonna start off by giving it a funny name. So I wanted to brand it to me, so they always know that I'm gonna be there. You know what I mean? Like they always knew that I'm gonna be there on Thursdays. I'm be like, this is Teabag Thursdays, and we're gonna call it Teabag Thursdays because this is the night where people are gonna come and they're gonna see something that Sweet Tea has created.
Make it
I've always have a big mind. I've had like new ideas and inspirations and aspirations, and so like I really like took over Thursdays and just kind of like reformed it, but like kept some elements the same. My mind as a like, I used to be a manager at Forever 21, and I used to be a manager at Build-A-Bear Workshop, so like I knew how to like use other people's talents to like build something up. And because I want to say I'm the best entertainer in Jacksonville. A lot of people will say that like, oh, like you're a star and things like that, and I appreciate them when they say that. But like there's other people here who I definitely like, who supports me like on the stage. Like I feel like if I did a show directly by myself, it wouldn't be as magical as it is with the team that we built together. And because it's just the same like anywhere. Like sometimes it's okay to have a one person show, and there's like entertainers that can do a one woman show, but like I love having like people to help support the show and to like help bring it to life and make it bigger. I think I'm just losing my train of thought.
So what I know that you have, I was looking, you did a big gay drag brunch at Cellar 6. Did you get to do that?
I did.
How was that?
I
love
it. It was great. So that's actually it was my first one woman show, which I was completely nervous, and I'm so happy. One, it was on my birthday. I did it on my birthday. Two, it was just like Mary's. Like it had that brunch crowd. Those people that are just like, oh my gosh, a drag queen! Oh my goodness! It was in St. Augustine, and like literally, like you step out and you're like right there in the marketplace. Like that's where I was, and like people looked at me crazy. People shielded their children, but like we were having a great time, and that's one thing I love about drag is I never really care about like the money, or the money's great. I won't lie, the money's great. But like I love the interactions with people. I love performing, and and I really feel like that's why I got T-Bar Thursday, is because my passion just really showed that I really want this, and I really want to take it to a new level. Not because of money, just because I love drag. And that's, in short answer, that's how I got Tea Bag Thursdays.
So I know that have you done some pageants in the past?
I have. I have done pageants. I've done technically I've done 3, but I've done like 2 official pageants. So at UCDR there was this a pageant challenge, and I kind of feel like I slayed that challenge a little bit. That's really like, I think that was like what sparked me. No, it wasn't. It wasn't my first pageant. My first pageant was Miss Metro Newcomer,
Huh?
where Asia Black Dupree was crowned, and I was the second runner up. Out of 4 girls, I was the second runner up, and it was just a very, very close race, and that actually like just made me feel like so good, because seeing the notes, some people like, get in their feelings about the notes that like the judges write and stuff like that, like seeing all those the score sheets. I actually love seeing score sheets because I love to be I like to be judged, but at the same time I don't like to be judged.
Well, it's like I take you stuff like that. You would, especially on the first one, I would probably take it as like constructive criticism, so that
and that's what it is. I personally, like, I know what I signed up for, and if I didn't win, I want to know why I didn't win. And sometimes there's no reason why you didn't win. It's just because like everyone was so good, but this one detail was much better than the details that you had. You know what I mean? So like, so I took I that was the first time that I saw like myself through someone else's looking glass. Like, like that was the first time someone has judged me, and it was so like it was an honor, because like there was so many like high names here in Jacksonville that was on the judging panel, and they literally loved me, and I was so excited. I was so happy that they actually like loved me and stuff like that. Like, like they were like, you're a force to be, like Terry from In Cahoots was like, you're a force, like you're a force to be reckoned with. I was like, oh my gosh, stop. And then like my talent, and I have so many things where like I like went back on. I was like, dang, I could have done this. I could have done that. But like it just makes you stronger. I grew a lot from like just doing that one pageant, and it just kind of like just made like Sweet Tea a little bit better. And then I did my second pageant this year for Miss Metro, because I'm a big girl now. I'm not doing no more newcomer pageant. I am a big girl,
yeah,
and look at my big girl panties.
way past that.
I'm a big girl, and I got to pull up. Okay, like I'm no longer using a diaper, baby. I'm using a pull up. I'm almost to the boxer briefs level. Like almost. And then I'm gonna be back into the adult diapers. But at the moment I'm wearing I'm in my pull-ups.
What is an interesting thing about you that we learned from your friend?
I don't know. Well, a lot of things that a lot of people don't know about me is that I'm such a wallflower. Meaning that like I just attach to so many emotions. So I think that's something that like the fan base, like people who know Sweet Tea but doesn't really know Trey. So I'm gonna rephrase it like that. Like things that people don't know about Trey is that like I work really, really hard at everything I do. Like if it's to get somewhere, like I make sure, like my friends will tell you that like no matter where, like I would get there. Like, like I remember one time someone was gonna be like, oh well, I don't think I can take you to this gig, and I was like, that's fine, I could take a bus. I literally got on the bus in full drag, and I went to the gig. And like people at Hamburger Mary's would tell you, like I take the bus, and I'm not ashamed. I take the bus in full drag. I'm not ashamed. I used to go to Metro in full drag when I was doing the talent show just so I can compete.
On the bus?
On the bus. Just so I could compete. And I used to like take a taxi or I used to take an Uber home.
See, then being very brave is a thing right there for you. Especially
yeah,
riding the bus.
I mean, I'm a very
the
brave
taxi,
soul. Like,
okay, but the bus.
I've been through like so much in my life where like I'm not really like terrified of anything. Like two of my biggest fears is the depth of the ocean. Like, you know, like when you get in the water and you don't know like how deep it is.
Oh yeah.
That's my biggest fear. And then my second biggest fear, which I call these my personal hells, like if I ever like got into that Mojo JoJo world, like the how it is in Coven, American Horror Story. Like my personal hell would be either drowning repeatedly, like into like unknown like depths of water, or being paralyzed. So like, because I'm always on the go, and I feel like if I ever was paralyzed, I would feel like that would be like my depression state. Like I don't think I to be dark, I don't think I could be able to live if I'm complete. Yeah, because you know, like I'm always someone who does, and I'm such an active person. Like literally, like right now, I'm walking around the house talking. But like, you know, those are my two biggest fears. Like if I went blind, like, you know, like some people, you know, if I went blind and I'm still able to hear, you know, some people aren't able to hear, and that's a blessing. Or if I can see and I'm not able to hear, you know, it's a blessing that some people can actually see, you know, and like if I, you know, so those things don't really bother me, but like if like from head to toe I'm paralyzed, that really would bum me. Like that would bum me down a lot.
Would you rather have no music for the rest of your life, or have all music sung by your significant other?
I would have all music sung by my significant other. And like and my significant other,
right.
My boyfriend Maddox, I just know that he was just saying like just gaga like 24/7. Like I already know like the list of songs that he'll have prepared for me. And like, you know, and he could be the person I lip sync to, you know. I'm like, you know what? I'm lip syncing to my boyfriend's vocals.
So if you could put any franchise restaurant in your house, what would it be?
Lipton.
That would be a good one.
Lipton tea or McDonald's. Actually, if I could put any franchise in my house, and like if I was like some rich famous person and I had to like put this one place in my house, the place that I would put in my home would be a Taco Bell.
I love Taco Bell. I could eat there all the time.
I want a quesadilla every single. I'm literally after this, I'm making my own quesadilla. I'm ready.
I like mine like that with chicken.
But
so
you said
if you were a new addition to a crayon, box, what color would you be and why?
I would be teabag brown. Yeah.
So thank you very, very much for letting me do this interview with you.
Okay, boo.